welcome to the Skiffy and Fanny Show's Torture Cinema!
Something did come back from the sea. Sooner or later, everything does.
I could make a political joke, but I'm not gonna. Oh my god, Trish, I just looked up. No, stop. Stop. Good lord. Cannibalism is not allowed on this show, Trish. I'm Shaun.
I'm Trish.
I'm Robert.
And today, for Torture Cinema, we are discussing The Fog. Not the original 1980 film by John Carpenter with Squean Queen herself, Jamie Lee Curtis, but
Hey,
the 2000... What?
Sorry.
This is, in fact, the 2005 remake directed by Rupert Wainwright, who I just assume was one of the ghosts in this because that sounds like a British name, right? From a screenplay written by Cooper Lane. It stars very cute and adorable Tom Welling, Maggie Grace, Selma Blair, DeRay Davis, Kenneth Welsh, and many, many other people.
The Fog has a 3.5 out of 10 rating on IMDb, a 4% and a 19% on the Rotten Tomatoes tomato meter and popcorn meter, respectively, and a 1.8 out of 5 on Letterboxd. The original rates considerably higher.
This film was selected by our Patreon supporters based on our annual October poll of scary bad movies for Halloween. If you're not yet subscribed to our Patreon, please join and get a chance to suggest future torture for us. Force it upon us by voting in upcoming polls and even join us watching it live on Discord. All for as low as $1 a month.
It's actually less money than to buy a bag of candy for trick-or-treat. So.
Truth.
Yeah. All right, so before we dive into this film, I think it's accurate to say it's a film. It's just maybe not good, but it's a film. It was technically filmed on film, I assume. Yeah. So anyway, before we get into that, let's get into what we are drinking. As required by this show, I asked everybody bring a beverage, but nobody is required to make that beverage alcoholic. That beverage may be anything in liquid form. And I will even accept things that are not quite liquid, but kind of are, because pudding is technically a liquid. And so if you wanted to drink pudding from a cup, you're allowed. But if you are drinking, some of us may be drinking alcohol, we ask that you drink responsibly. If you're drinking at home, obviously do not get behind the wheel of a car. Absolutely do not. You stay in your butt in that seat, you watch some cartoons, and you be responsible. Because drinking and driving, bad. Obviously, if you have an alcohol problem, you shouldn't be drinking right now. You should go get some help and have, some decaf coffee instead. Anyway, so Trish, what are you drinking?
Well, I am drinking the old reliable H2O. I can't get it to focus, but I'm drinking it out of a insulated cup. But I'm drinking just water because it's been... Well, that's what I drink a lot of the time, but especially now because I'm a little dehydrated because it has gotten a little cold up here in Minnesota where I live now, and that is getting me a little dehydrated because I keep forgetting to drink enough water because I'm not hot.
Oh.
Or I'm not feeling hot.
But you are hot, is what you're saying.
How about you, Robert? What are you drinking?
Oh, I went with a little Halloween theme. I got a Fanta fruit punch with Chucky on it.
Does it taste like Chucky?
I wouldn't know.
Oh.
I've never tasted Chucky.
Does it have a special flavor?
It tastes like fruit punch.
It's just fruit punch?
No, it's just fruit punch.
Oh. Weird. Okay.
How about you, Shaun?
So I made a extra large Cosmo because I am a cute one. I'm just so cute and I like my fruity drinks. To be abundantly clear, I realize this glass is a lot for a Cosmo because a Cosmo is almost entirely alcohol and you would think that's a lot of alcohol. I made it on the extra sweet side, so it has extra cranberry juice. So calm down, everybody. Shaun does not have a problem.
Good call.
I can stop whenever I want. Anyway, but yeah, so
it's
I made a
almost
Cosmo.
cranberry season, too.
Ooh, yeah. So I could almost get real cranberries to put in there. Ooh, that'd be good. I made a Cosmo, by the way, not with Cointro, but with triple sec, because Cointro is $38 for a bottle because of the tariffs. And I went,
Damn.
no,
Yes.
I'm not doing it. And so I got triple sec. So it is not as good as a real Cosmo, but unfortunately I can't get the real stuff. I have to deal with the $4.49 bottle from Sam's Club of triple sec that I bought. That was the size of, I think, about as you could fill one of those big black trash cans that people have. You could almost put that much in there. It required a wheelbarrow to get it in the house.
That'll last you.
Yeah, at least until the end of the world. Yeah. Okay. Trish has apparently been volunteered to tell us about this movie. And so, Trish, could you give us a little summary that is, it says here to make it murky and dense as possible. Which I'm going to say no, because then that you could be summarizing until next year. Because the subtext in this film is remarkably complex. And I think just talking about why Tom Welling is in this movie could take you at least 600 hours. So maybe make it a more contained summary, but make it a little spooky.
I think I'll go for cryptic instead of dense.
Yes.
Yes. So, but I'll keep with the murky, because that goes with cryptic too. Okay, sometimes a historical prologue is a dream, but sometimes it's actually a reincarnation flashback. Fishing is a hard life. Kids should generally listen to their moms, but moms should actually explain why they're forbidding their kids to go down on the beach and do stuff. Party boats are bad and dangerous, and you shouldn't go on them because bad things can happen. History, there's a lot of lies in commonly told history, and digging into the past can sometimes save your life, or at least some people's lives. Sometimes it helps to not actually be a native of an insular community. People have done some really bad stuff in history, and some people still live and flourish on the remains of those bad acts, but sometimes history does come back and bite you in the butt.
I agree. That is true. And that literally happens in here. You know what's weird?
Is that good for a summary, or do you want some actual plot?
I feel like I learned nothing about this movie from that. So, I guess give us the base plot of the story, and then at some point we'll get to how that connects to what you just said.
Okay. So it turns out that there were people coming in a ship to an island off the coast of somewhere in the Pacific Northwest, and they
Oregon.
were betrayed. There was burning, there were deaths. Suddenly we're in the present, or 2005 or so. Tom Welling and his friend Spooner are taking a couple of tourists fishing, and suddenly they pull up old stuff, a
Antique
hairbrush
mirror.
and a locket, or pocket watch or something, and a chain of bad events starts happening from there. Later, Tom Welling is driving around, and he picks up his former girlfriend who is hitchhiking, and they sort of flirt, but in a kind of very awkward way, and then take each other for granted again. And meanwhile, Spooner, the friend, is doing a party boat thing with a cousin of Tom Welling's and a couple of girls who they encourage to strip down and dance off, even though it's cold, presumably, out there. But anyway, what are party boats for? Anyway, several people on the party boat end up dead when the fog rolls in. The kid who goes beachcombing had given his mom something that sets the radio station partly on fire, and she calls the kid and hysterically tells him not to go to the beach again without explaining why. But it's okay because some relative is coming to babysit the kid, which means watch Jeopardy while the kid goes down to the beach anyway. Lots of other stuff happens. Lots of people start dying. Fog rolls in. There are car crashes and people being killed in electrical explosions. People who get pulled under, who mysteriously slip and drown evidence. Eventually it turns out that, yes, the past has come to take revenge on the descendants of people who did bad things.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Is that a better summary? That good enough?
I think that was fine. I think we're good. Yeah. Great. So this film exists, and we need to now get into talking about our likes and dislikes about this film. So, Robert, since you are returning for the first time, you get to go first. What is your like for this film?
The only like I really had was the town of Antonio Bay itself. It looks like a nice vacation spot. Until, ghosts and stuff.
That's it? You just think the town looks cute?
Yeah, it's nice and quaint. Got a lighthouse. Looks like some good spots to hike and have a little camp out on the beach.
I will definitely concede that this does not look like an LA beach that they tried to make look like a northern town. It definitely looks like a Pacific Northwest town.
Because it was filmed in British Columbia. Yep.
Okay, well, still, northern coast as opposed to southern sandy beaches coast.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely it reminded me a lot of Washington. Which makes sense, because Washington's literally right there, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Wait, does this mean there's a lot of Canadians in this film?
Yes.
Name them all, Robert.
I don't know if I can name them all. I have notes.
Give me one. Give me one Canadian in this movie. It's not Tom Welling. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Yeah, no, not Tom Welling. I honestly can't name any Canadians right now.
Well, I mean...
But seeing as it was filmed in British Columbia...
Yeah. I would assume mostly extras. I'm going to assume mostly extras or small parts, because I think none of the main cast are Canadian.
Probably not.
Yeah. Because this stars Tom Welling, Maggie Grace, Selma Blair, and DeRay Davis. And that's kind of... And then technically Kenneth Welsh is in this, and he has 8 lines. So, yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I think we're all in agreement. I don't know that we have a lot to say about that, Robert, but it's pretty. And we would like to visit.
Once the ghosts have been laid.
I'd go when the ghosts are there. I didn't do nothing. I'm not even involved. I can reason with a ghost.
They don't seem to sweat the bystander aspect very much. I mean, a lot of I don't think that the weather forecaster guy is a descendant of the ancient ones. I don't think. Well, I don't know actually.
You don't
Maybe
know.
I should look up his last name.
We learn early, right, that a lot of the people in this town are related to the founders of this town.
Well, that's true. Mm-hmm.
But the thing we don't know is whether or not a bunch of the bystanders are related to them. And so I would just assume that this small town has a lot more family connection than we realize.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
With exception of DeRay, right? Because isn't DeRay originally from outside?
He was from Chicago.
You mean Spooner? Yeah.
Spooner, Spooner.
Parents
he was from
his
Chicago.
Grandparents moved here from Chicago. Yeah.
which is why they spared him.
We should explain, since we haven't explicitly stated it, Spooner is, as far as I can tell, the one black member of the cast.
Correct. Yeah.
And
he does not, in fact,
although
die.
I lost... Sorry, what?
He doesn't die first.
Right. That is definitely what I was expecting to happen, and so I was pleasantly surprised that it did not happen.
Yeah. Although he certainly defies medical everything in his survival. Which,
yes,
in fairness, kudos to him. He found a loophole in genetics, apparently. So... Yeah, it's a weird town, right? Because on the one hand, it is supposed to be incredibly close-knit, where, like, a lot of the families, everyone kind of knows each other. It's that kind of small-town vibe. But it is also a town that has a really dark past, and it is also a town where apparently all the children hate their parents. Because Maggie Grace's character, Elizabeth Williams, like, her and her mom had some falling out at some point. And Tom Welling, I think, was originally raised by wolves because does he have a dad?
He has an uncle.
No parent.
It's never said what happened to his parents.
Yeah.
But to be fair to Elizabeth's mom, she doesn't seem great, but Elizabeth ghosted everybody when she moved out of town and went to New York. For no better reason than because she wanted to find herself. And, I'm all for leaving your small town to go. But you don't just ghost your mom and leave your boyfriend without even a note, unless he's awful for other reasons, which we can discuss. But, she had reasons to be screwed up, as we will see later.
Oh, she has reason to be screwed up, but not because Nick Castle, a.k.a. Tom Welling, was a bad boyfriend.
No.
No. As far as we know, he's a sweetheart. He's nice.
Well, he lies. He tries to lie. He's not good at it, thankfully, for Elizabeth. But,
what does he lie to her about? He
tells lies to try to make himself look better and look like a more caring boyfriend. And like he isn't a horn dog who would pick up a female hitchhiker just because she's female.
Hold the fort. Okay, we got...
Luckily for the plot, it turns out to be Elizabeth, his ex-girlfriend.
I must defend the honor of Nick Castle, a.k.a. Cute Superman. Little Superboy himself. She disappeared for 6 months. So as far as I'm concerned, you don't tell me you're leaving. We're in a relationship. You skip town. I try to find you. 6 months go by. That relationship done. So if I want to go meet other lady folk or men folk, if that's what you're into, I thought he and Spooner were possibly going to have a relationship, and I was hopeful for that, but that did not happen. Because
it did seem like that for quite a while.
There was a moment where I was like, they kind of like each other. Anyway, right? So as far as I'm concerned, he's allowed now to pursue other women. Now, him picking up women in the middle of the night on the side of the road, admittedly, is not exactly how I would recommend you find women, but there's nothing indicated in that he is not honorable. He's just, there's a cute lady on the side of the road, and he's like, hey, you need a ride, lady? And he's gonna do his little, I'm kind of just small, I drive an old beater Ford, and I'm just a really nice guy who will take you home, make sure you're safe, and then maybe a little kissy, right? And then if she's not into it, there's no indication that he would be he would be unhappy with them spurring his advances.
No,
he would just be like,
he was jokey, flirty. That's fine, and I have no problem with him considering that they are broken up instead of on a break. No problem at all with that.
Nice Friends reference.
Yes, it was. But it was a ludicrously bad lie that he was trying to pretend to Elizabeth that he knew it was her all along that he was picking up, and not random hitchhiker girl.
Yes, I agree it's a stupid lie. I think she has absolutely no basis to be challenging him whatsoever in that moment.
Fair. She is definitely not the blameless one in this relationship.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what her deal was. I just think, like, you could have just told some people, like, hey, I need to get out of town. I'll be back in 6 months. Like, at least, I still don't think that's a good answer, but, like, it's better than I'm not even going to tell you and I'm just leaving.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Unless she was fleeing abuse or something, there's no good reason to just ghost your mom and leave town forever, as far as she knows, without even a note.
That's kind of what I thought. Right? Like, I thought that, maybe her mom abused her, and, like, that's why they had a falling out. Or maybe he was a bad boyfriend. Or maybe they weren't together. I thought, it's kind of weird. She was gone for 6 months. Maybe, like, they kind of liked each other, but she was in an abusive relationship somewhere else. Something had made her leave. But, like, the character note they give to her is, like, she wants to find herself because she doesn't feel like she belongs. And, that's the flimsiest of answers.
Yeah.
Anyway. Weirdly, not the worst character in this entire movie.
Nope.
It's true.
Yeah.
So,
right, well, Trish, what's your like?
Move on? I was hovering between the black guy doesn't die, and the one that I'm gonna say, but, you know, them not doing a bad thing in the movie is not good enough to be a positive like from me. So for my like, I am simply going to say Tom Welling in that white ribbed sweater looked mighty fine.
Oh yeah. He is cute as shit in this, man.
Yep.
Like, I understood why he stayed on Smallville all those years and why people liked it. Like, he is adorable.
Yep. Not his character so much, although he does do some right things in the end and tries to protect some people, and that's all to the good. Although there are some things that he does that are not great. But, just for looks, yeah, that's a like. And definitely the best looking person in this movie by miles.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. If I were hitchhiking in the middle of the night in a small Pacific Northwest town in the middle of nowhere, and he pulled up in a beater Ford and was like, hey, do you need a ride? And then he put a little bit of flirtation on me, I might question myself. He is very cute. So.
Yep. Alright, Shaun, what is your like?
Okay, so I don't like this movie, but it has some things that I kind of like. The one thing I will say that I actually kind of like about this is actually something you said at the very beginning of your summary, which is that it does stage very deliberately and clearly a sort of story narrative idea about how we tell history and how those histories are often mythical. And then sometimes, in this case, literally this time, sometimes those histories are based on lies, right? And I liked that they did this, and they made that very clear that this town is quite literally founded on lies. It's unclear how much the town, like the people that are alive now, know this, but I think it's a very interesting conversation to be had about the way Americans construct our mythology of our nation. To have a film like this actually just say, no, well, like in some cases, right, there are outright lies, there's violence, there's horrific crimes against humanities, treaty violations, etc., that are being told, that are part of the narrative of our history. I really liked that. I don't know that I would say the film handles it in, you know, the kind of depth that maybe it needed, but the fact that it bothered to even try, I think, is interesting.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and the whole thing about, you know, I said that them accidentally dragging up the hairbrush and pocket watch from the original shipwreck being the reason that all these things happen. It also coincides with the town unveiling a statue of the founders.
Yes. Which itself is also a lie.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, the founders are actually all murderers.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was interesting. And they don't really say that that's also why the ghosts are coming for revenge, but it does make sense.
It does, yeah. I was saying that the statues are also a lie because, like, there's that big deal where Elizabeth Williams' mom is making a kind of having a problem with the fact that the statues have the wrong items.
Or switched,
yeah. So one of them has the scope, the eyepiece that shouldn't have it, etc. And while the logistics of that I found utterly ridiculous, because the idea that you wouldn't have seen this in some mock-up or a drawing or something to fix it earlier is absurd.
Right.
But it makes it very clear, like, in every single way, every part of the myth of this town has, like, it's almost like a game of telephone. Like, it's just now become so, manipulated over time.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think it's, like, the best part of the film is there's you can see there's a story to tell here that is really worth telling.
Yeah. And I don't know if this is the right place to talk about it, but another, along those lines of, history, there were a lot of things I didn't like about this movie, but the resolution at the end made me happy because it's a callback to a whole lot of old-fashioned ghost stories. And it's a creepy callback, a callback to something really creepy that happens in really too many ghost stories and vampire stories and stuff, but somehow it worked for me. And I don't want to say what that is in case any of our listeners actually watch this movie, which I don't really recommend unless you really just want to stare at Tom Welling in a sweater. But somehow some of my resentments fell away with the resolution because it was like, oh, okay, this is just really an old-fashioned ghost story, and a lot of those didn't make a lot of sense either, and somehow it won some forgiveness from me.
Robert, what do you think about that so I don't monopolize?
That's part of my dislike, actually.
Okay, perfect. I'm
right.
going to shut my dumb mouth. It goes right to you.
Okay. My dislikes were like the bad writing and the bad character actions. I mean, at the beginning of the movie, they're in the boat, guy's leaning over going, there's something in the water. And the other guy says, clear it. And he's like, I can't see anything. How do you know there's something in the water if you can't see anything?
Yes.
Okay. But then you get to the ending of it and ghosts are rampaging all over the town. People are dying. And all of a sudden the head ghost just gets back his wife and he's like, now we're good. And they just disappear.
Yeah,
if they're out for blood revenge.
Think about that?
Yeah. I mean, if they're out for blood revenge, why pack up and go home that quickly? I mean, it just made no sense to me. I can understand getting his wife back and all that, but a couple more people should die.
Yeah, kind of like in Count of Monte Cristo, where he's set on revenge against everybody, and then, oh, love, one of the daughter of one of the people who done him wrong, is a sweet girl, and suddenly, okay, I guess it stops here.
I'm good now. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like how basically Robert's whole point ended with the body count wasn't high enough for me.
Well, if they were really out for revenge,
yeah.
I mean, come on, blood for blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
How many of the founders' descendants actually died? Like 2?
Yeah, because, like,
technically...
that we know of anyways.
Well,
3
so
people on the party boat. Radio forecaster guy.
Yeah, but we don't know if they were all
the uncle
part of the whole lineage thing.
Yeah, the anti-babysitter. That's
the uncle.
Oh yeah,
that's
people,
right. I think.
Yep.
The uncle.
A bunch of car
The uncle
crashes
died?
and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Doesn't
Uncle Hank
Uncle
died.
dies.
That's 6.
Okay.
6 definite. A bunch of people died in car crashes and fires and stuff. I don't think we have an actual body count on that.
Yeah.
But it definitely wasn't, half the
Yeah.
town like it should have been.
No.
Yeah.
It needed more.
They killed certainly a bunch, and technically Elizabeth, I guess, dies.
Yeah.
I call it a technicality because I don't know what you call that at that point. A willful conversion, I guess. She joined the church. I don't know what else you call it, because she's not alive anymore, but I don't know that you could say that, like, it does anyway, right?
And she wasn't actually killed. She just kind of faded away with the rest of them.
She voluntarily gave up her
her.
livingness.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. This fog, this would be my dislike. And I'm sorry, Trish. I know you technically should go next, but since it's directly related,
That's okay.
I should mention
Go
it.
ahead.
I really, 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 really dislike horror films where the supernatural thing can do whatever the plot requires it to do and has no internal logic of its own. And the fog and the ghost things that are in the fog can seemingly do almost anything that is necessary for it to do, right? It can interact with the world in almost any way that it needs to. It can pick up a knife and throw it without there being an actual ghost present. It can move the fog around in all kinds of weird ways. It can drown you. It can do this. It can do that. It just things happen where it's like, do we need a different? It felt to me like Final Destination, kind of, where like Final Destination's whole premise is like death is coming for you, and it finds these elaborate Rube Goldberg machines to like basically kill you, which are all very clever, right? But in this, that's not the sort of logic that I would expect there to be in the way the ghosts operate. And so for me, I found it really annoying because I kept going like, well, they're going to die this way because the plot will demand that that's how they die. And suddenly now the fog is able to do that. And I find that, to me, that's not scary really anymore. To me, that's actually, like, I think part of what makes something really scary is even when you know how it works, it still gets you. Like zombies. You know how a zombie works, right? You can do everything right, but then you get trapped. And then you're screwed.
Yeah.
And it's like, it doesn't matter how much you thought through it, the thinking wasn't enough. So that to me was a real annoyance. And it kind of feeds into, like, the ending where suddenly this whole thing happens, and now there's, like, they're trying to get him to sign the contract, then he light him on fire, because of course they can light him on fire. Some of it ties back to the, like, past ship narrative, where they're, like, reenacting things that happen on the ship, which I get, whatever. But yeah, in the end, I just was just very disappointed in the fog. It wasn't really
as a story element.
Yeah, I just didn't like it as a story element. You're right.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, naming it the fog is not what killed people.
Right.
The fog is, not terrifying in and of itself, just as it's more just, a herald of what is coming. Yeah, those ghosts, I can see how they would have power over things in the water. I can see how they would have power over fire, because they died by fire, well, most of them, lots of them. I could see, I guess, a lot of ghosts, supposedly have power over electricity too. They can make lights flicker and stuff, although I thought that was more with gaslight. But, yeah, it's just, it turns out into, they're just gonna kill you somehow or other, and it doesn't really gel.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just gonna throw a bunch of stuff at you. Oh well.
I did like the fog effects, like how they made they're basically using smoke, right? Making it billow up against windows and things. Like, I thought that was pretty cool. It's just, Yeah. They did some cool effects with it, but
Yeah.
in the end, just disappointed. Anyway, Trish, what's your dislike?
Well, you two have covered a lot of it. I mean, between you. The illogic, the bad writing, and the annoying ghost effects are most of what I didn't like about this film.
Oh, no. You're going to get to the next one. You're going to get to the one that we all need to talk about. Go on, do it.
Uh-oh.
You're not?
You put her on the spot, Shaun.
The one that we all need to talk about?
Oh, no, never mind. You do whatever was in your head. It's fine.
Yeah, and then we'll go back to Shaun. I'm curious now.
I have other things that I want to say, but none of them are passionate dislikes because you two have covered the passionate dislikes. I have some more minor likes, which is the pacing. This movie was not boring. It was illogical, but it was, it moved right along, and that was a good thing. I don't like people decorating their porches with lethally barbed wind chimes.
I was waiting for something to happen with those.
There was so many.
I really was too. This movie actually did set up a lot of things that did not happen too.
Yeah.
And that was annoying and disappointing. Yeah.
Trish.
So what I'm talking about for those who have not seen the movie is that Tom Welling's porch has a lot of decorative hooks, which I guess are fishing equipment or something. But yeah, like Andrea was saying in chat, it reminded her of the Geico commercial where, all these horror elements are happening, and it's like, let's go hide in the barn with all the chainsaws in it.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't understand them because they're in the boat, which to me seems even more dangerous, right? You're hanging them up in a thing that might do this. And so
Right.
It made no sense. And I think I was right with you, Trish, that we were expecting that to be someone falls into it or something, and not once.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
I hope it was intentional.
So I don't know what you were leading up to, Shaun.
I'll tell you.
Please tell us.
I'll do my best impression. You ready for it?
Oh, dear.
Let me see if I can actually find a quote from it to speak it out. Come on, where's a quote from you?
Is it going to be something about the stereotypical drunk priest?
No, they don't have one. So, I'm just going to make it up because I cannot remember what the radio station was. But here we go. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to K109.7, The Snooze. You can just listen to the dulcet tones of my voice while I'm being weird and weirdly gothic emo. And I'm going to play music for you. And I have a son at home, but I'm sexy voice lady.
But
It's
she
like we
wasn't
were
all
right
that
there
sexy
again.
voice, and she wasn't all that informative. You're right, Shaun. I totally let this one slip by. She is a bad radio announcer who
Yes.
does things badly. She can't decide what she wants to be, sexy radio lady or professional on the level voice lady, and a lot of the time she's just almost monotone radio lady, which is the worst sin you can commit. And and she, makes fun of her boyfriend, meteorologist's weather warnings.
Wait, is that her boyfriend?
I certainly
think
hope
so.
not, because
Why
that's a
else
bad
does he call her-
relationship.
I assumed that it was a bad relationship. Yeah.
I thought he was
maybe they
into
just-
her, and she was
And
not
she's
into
not
him.
into him.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, maybe that's it, or maybe they were former item
Maybe,
or something.
Whatever
But
it was, he was
anyway.
trying too hard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And she was like, look, I already got a kid. I'm too busy as it is. But yeah, she was a bad radio announcer. And, I can only assume she got her job through nepotism or something. Because
Yeah,
that's
right,
how
she inherited
these
the
small
station.
towns work.
It's bad.
Yes.
It's so bad. It's one of those, like...
So bad.
It's what happens when you give, like, an early 2000s millennial, like, you gave them access to a radio station. You know, they just entered college, and they're like, oh, I could have my own late-night radio station. I'm going to make myself, like, the coolest. Like, I'm going to tell you the real true stuff, y'all. And it sounds exactly as cringe as you would imagine. And that's what she is. It's incredibly cringy. And obnoxious.
I mean, she clearly thinks she's being a character or something. Some kind of laid-back, semi-sexy host. But none of it is working. It's like... boy, you are never moving even up to the B leagues. You are going to be, you are never moving up from this job because no one is going to hire you based on your sample list. You're just, no.
Well, joke's on you, Trish.
Yeah.
Because this is the only radio station on the island, and she owns it.
That's right.
Oh, it's so bad. I cannot believe they did that. Like, I don't know what... So originally it was apparently going to be Fergie playing Stevie Wayne and not Selma Blair. I don't know that would have improved things.
No.
Maybe more of a personality?
Oh, certainly there'd be more personality.
I mean, a radio host, unless they are deliberately bland washing themselves, a radio host needs a personality.
Yeah, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Fergie has more personality, but I think Fergie's problem is the same problem Stevie Wayne, played by Selma Blair, has, which is that I think they both think they have more talent than they actually have. So, actually, I think then Fergie would be perfect, because then she'd be basically unintentionally playing a character ironically. It's just mean, but I don't know. Anyway, it's bad. There's other dumb things in this. We should mention that physics in this universe apparently don't apply, because when Selma Blair, aka Stevie Wayne's car, is hit, it is hit in a head-on collision, but the car doesn't go back, or like forward a bit and then back. It goes completely sideways and flies through the air, doing somersaults into the water, which I didn't know cars could do that when hit in a head-on collision, but we have all learned new physics today.
Yes, we have.
There's also the moment when the kid tries to keep out the fog by taping the cracks in his doors with Scotch tape. Now, I don't blame the kid for trying this, because it's a kid, and kids are just going to do anything they think that would work, right? But the weird thing is that it technically works for a moment, which I find absurd, because we can see there are holes where the tape has not covered things, so this makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that. So there's a lot of weird physics things. Yeah, how the fog interferes with radio signals, I don't understand, because if you recall, when the people who became ghosts were alive, radio didn't even exist. So how do they know to disrupt all satellite, radio, radar, how do they know to do that? How'd they learn that?
I guess they've been waiting and watching all this time.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe,
Batman
reincarnated knowledge goes both ways. So Elizabeth sees stuff from the future, from the past, and her knowledge of the future or the present goes back to the ghosts. Maybe she's not the only reincarnated person.
Oh, okay. So that assumes either that this whole time Elizabeth is actually a genius and we just have no evidence of that, or someone else who is a genius and knows the technologies well enough is a reincarnated ghost person. Ghost leper, I should say.
that adds a whole nother level to the movie that I don't think it has.
Probably not. I don't know. It's all ridiculous. Anyway, I don't know. It's fine. It's not a good movie, but it's fine. It's just not good. I think that
it's
means
certainly not the worst movie I've seen.
Oh no, we have seen some real stinkers. Yeah, I watched Alone in the Dark for this an Uwe Boll film. We've watched enough of that man's movies. I'm really surprised he has not threatened to beat me up in a boxing match. Because that's what he does. He has challenged movie reviewers to fight him in a boxing ring. He's kind of an old man now, so I'd probably beat him up, but you know.
You could take him.
I don't know. He apparently is good enough that he'd beat people younger than him, so he probably secretly is trained by Mike Tyson.
Just cover your ears.
Yeah. So, in case the Germans don't know, your German government's paying for that. Because he gets some of his funding from his films from the German government, so there you go. Anyway, shall we have final thoughts and a grade?
Sure.
Robert, it is now your turn.
Okay, the movie was okay. There's nothing really inherently bad, but nothing inherently good either. I'll give it a C and file it under, they can keep the money, I just want the time back.
That's a really high grade for that.
Selma Blair and Maggie Grace.
Okay, you've talked about an actress who literally ruins every film ever, and an actress that has not actually improved any film she's been in, but has not actively made it worse.
I don't know which one you're talking about for which. It could go either way.
I feel really mean for saying this, but me and Maggie Grace have a long history of not enjoying almost any performance she's ever given in every movie. Literally, my favorite movie that she's in is Taken, because she's Taken at the beginning of the movie and we don't see her for most of it.
Okay, Taken? My gripe with that movie was that Katie Cassidy, who played her friend, wasn't playing her character instead. So in other words, let Maggie Grace play the friend who got kidnapped with her and killed.
Oh, wow, you went darker than I did. Jeez. I just said I was glad she wasn't in the movie for most of it. You said I hoped her character got killed off. Anyway, Selma Blair's fine, by the way. I don't want to be mean to Selma Blair because Selma Blair probably could kill me. So, I feel like she has a black belt or something in something. Anyway. All right. Trish, what's your grade?
Well, just for my final thoughts first, going back to what I said before about somehow ending up liking this movie because of the tropes that were realized at the end. And since we've basically said she sort of died, I'll just go ahead and explain that her reincarnated self was one of the ghosts and one of the wives of the murder victims, and Elizabeth sort of gets subsumed back into that person and vanishes from the world of the living now. And that's actually a thing that happens a lot in old-fashioned ghost stories, and it happens even today in vampire stories where, suddenly this modern chick is the reincarnation of someone the vampire was passionate about before. And it's a very disturbing trope because of the implication that women are interchangeable and, they're unique for their looks, but their personalities don't matter at all, and, that's really bad. But on the other hand, this month I've been listening to a lot of old-fashioned ghost stories, and the fact that Elizabeth acts so illogically in this movie suddenly makes sense because she's not a real person at all. She's just, a reincarnation person walking through life and not really wanting to be here at all. And so it just kind of made sense to me. And Shaun, you are making lots of astonished faces. Do you want to talk about it before I go on?
You just blew his mind.
What you're saying is Maggie Grace's Elizabeth, when she's in corporeal form, is more ghost than when she's in incorporeal form, when she's more human.
Kind of, yeah. Shaun makes the head explodes symbol.
Mind blown.
Yes. So anyway, so I really shouldn't like this movie as much as I did, which is to say that I am indifferent to this movie rather than actively disliking it. Nobody did anything that made me really angry. It was illogical, but it didn't do so much illogic as to, physically hurt me like some movies do. And like Shaun said, it does some interesting stuff with the lies people tell each other about history. And so, all in all, and it does have Tom Welling in a nice sweater, so all in all, I feel pretty neutral about this movie, and so, yeah, I'm gonna give it the most average grade, which is a C.
All right. So I have to save us from ourselves. Okay, so I don't like this movie for many of the reasons that I have said. It's not an actively bad movie in the sense that, like, I wasn't yelling at the screen. I wasn't angry at the movie, so I can't grade it, like, really, really low, because I have watched films where, like, halfway through the movie, it's just, if you're with us when we're live, it's just me, like, throwing out F-bombs because I'm just really irritated by something. I didn't do that with this, with one notable exception, with the horrible Selma Blair radio lady, where I was just like, please shut up and stop talking. Because it was just, I didn't like that at all. But she's not a main, like a core character. She's just a supporting character. So there's that. So I don't want to grade this really, really low. But I also don't want to grade this really, really high because I have to offset your grades because you've made me really, really feel like I just ethically I'm required to. Tom Welling is hot, and so it gets a lot of points for that. I don't know. I like a cute Superboy, and it's nice. Look, I'm gonna. Oh, I don't know what I want to do. I just give it a C minus. It's fine. It's fine. I don't hate this film. It's not good. The original's better, but still, like, it's fine.
If you give it a D+, that would even it out nicely to a C-.
But that
if you
would also
stand
be
with your
dishonest.
C-, it averages a C.
Yeah, but I can't be dishonest, because I don't think this is a D+ film.
Okay. Well then, by average, it averages out to a C. A low C.
Yeah,
but not
like
a C-.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
All right, folks. We made a podcast, as is normal that we do. So if you have seen this film and you would like to let us know what you thought, you can send us an email at skiffyinfanty@gmail.com. Or if you're in the Patreon Discord, you can go in there. We have a show discussion channel. You're happy to talk there. There's also a movies and TV channel. You could talk about it there as well if you would like. We are on Blue Sky, Threads, Mastodon, YouTube, whole bunch of other places. skiffyinfanty.com/skiffythings will take you to links to all of those so you can find us. And then we are live every Friday at 7 p.m. Central, except for the ones when we're like on hiatus because we do that for the holidays. So you can join us at Twitch. That is twitch.tv/alphabetstreams on those Fridays. And then if you like what we do, we are broke and we need all the money in the world that you don't need. So if you have money that you aren't presently using for some purpose and would like to give it to a good cause, go to patreon.com/skiffyandfanty and please donate. And if you can't do that, review us on all of the apps, and then just, I don't know, find us on socials and share our shows and our blog and other kinds of things so more folks find out about us, because frankly, podcast discovery on podcast apps is almost impossible. So the more word of mouth we get, the better. So there you go. So speaking of Patreon supporters, we have a whole bunch of them that we need to say hi to. And so for whatever reason, they are not in normal alphabetical order, so we're going to read them in this order. I don't know why. Thank you very much to Robert the Riveting, Robin the Bold, Ryan the Resilient, Sarah A. the Sensational, Sarah E. the Sublime, Sarah O. the Rapturous, Scott the Gentleman, Stephen the Strange, Tari the Thorough, Tanya the Triumphant, and Trish the Perturbable.
Also, thanks to Vic Thor the Valiant, Andrea the Alluring, Cameron the Chthonic, Carolyn the Benevolent, or Caroline, Carrie the Divine, Chris the Candescent, Dan the Transient, Daniel the Cultured, and David the Debonair.
And JC the Jocular, Jeff the Gracious, Joseph the Jovial, Juan the Junctional, KB the Kind, Karen the Kickass, Kat the Kinematic, Matthew the Magnificent, Paul the Pious, and Phoebe the Eloquent.
All right, thanks everybody very, very much. And thanks everyone who is here live with us. And thank you if you're listening later. I'm at ShaunDuke.net. I am also on Alphabet Streams every Wednesday and Sunday at 6 p.m. Central. And then you can find all my socials at ShaunDuke.net/DukeThings.
You can find me, Trish Matson, on Mastodon at TrishM at Newsy.social, on Blue Sky at PE Matson, at Skiffy and Fanty, doing podcasts and reviews, and occasionally on my blog, what'sthewordnow.blogspot.com.
You can find me over on Threads as RE_Junker, always up for talking about movies, comic books, TV shows, books, all that.
All right, as required by the Skiffy and Fanny bylaws, I must make this happy. And so I'm just going to read what I consider to be the most significant line from this whole film, spoken by our one and only Nick Castle, a.k.a. Very Hot Tom Welling Superboy. And that is just this. Holy shit. And on that note, happy ending. And scene.